Have you ever believed so fiercely in an idea that you'd spend hours chasing it, only to realize what's at stake? For the past year, painting has been my biggest passion, and since I started, I dreamed about turning it into a career. Now I finally landed my very first paid commission. Nothing but a Van Gogh style painting, and it's for one of my best friends. She's trusting me with something she holds dear, a portraiture of her dog, and that turns excitement into pressure on a whole new level. As a reference, my friend sent me an AI-generated image of her dog in a Van Gogh style. I didn't like the dark blue background, but I thought about my favorite Van Gogh self-portrait and the contrast of the bright blue background and his ginger hair. Since the dog has the same hair color, I changed the background. I love Van Gogh. He's one of my favorite artists. That's why I'm so excited about this opportunity. I've never painted in a style, and I've only painted impressionistic once in a workshop. Maybe I should have thought a little bit longer about what it means to paint like Van Gogh. It's actually a huge challenge, pushing myself way out of my comfort zone. When I told my dad, he looked at me and asked if I was sure I could make this work. He told me a story about school, where his art teacher asked the class of 14-year-olds to paint like Van Gogh. They didn't make it. But even though I knew Van Gogh could be a huge challenge, I was so excited about this opportunity and couldn't turn it down. This feels like one of those uncomfortable situations you have to put yourself into to grow. To even think about creating something inspired by Van Gogh, I had to really immerse myself in his art. I spent hours poring over his paintings, trying to understand his technique and painting style. It wasn't just about the sunflowers or the starry nights. It was about the raw emotion he poured onto the canvas, that unique way he saw the world. That's the kind of feeling I wanted to tap into. But wanting to capture that feeling is one thing. Actually executing it in a completely new style, that's where the reality check begins.
So this is actually harder than I thought. At the moment I'm hesitant and I'm thinking maybe I was too ambitious with this project. I don't know what I'm doing actually. So with this part I painted a lot more intentional and really tried to get this wavy form with my brush strokes, and I don't think that this looks very good, and also I used too much of my molding paste. I've never worked with this before. I really like the texture of Van Gogh paintings, but I think he builds it up with more layers and doesn't just use one layer with a lot of relief. Do you call it that in English? With a lot of texture, but through building up the first layers and then painting with more texture over it. And now that I already have that much texture on the canvas, it will be very hard for me to correct it if I need to. So at the moment I'm really thinking Van Gogh is too hard for me. Oh, and it's a commissioned piece and not just for my own fun. So that puts a lot of pressure on me, but we have to keep going. So let's do this. At the moment I'm just trying to get the directions of the brush strokes in and don't focus too much on the right colors or the length of the brush strokes. I think I finally found a way to paint. I'm now holding this brush very loosely and I'm just going with the flow, also twisting the brush while painting, and just have this very natural, intuitive and also calm painting style. And I don't know if Van Gogh painted like this, but now I think I get the right technique. It feels right. This is what I mean. I'm just holding the brush very loosely, just to see where it guides me, and also twisting it a little bit. Just playing with the different colors. This feels good. So it's a new day and I looked at this painting yesterday evening and already saw that I don't like it. I realized I actually hate everything I did yesterday. I already spent the evening yesterday looking up a lot of Van Gogh painting tutorials on YouTube, but most of them weren't very helpful to me. I found one which I think could be helpful, or I hope so. What I hate about it is there are too many colors. I also think it looks like seagrass, which is floating in the water. So I will try to work on this part where I don't have anything yet. So I really can try to make a new technique work without building these parts up too much. And when I figured it out, I can paint over this part. Yeah. Let's try it. I'm also right now at the stage where I just want to throw everything away or run away and don't look at this painting. But sometimes you just have to work through the ugly faces, and at the moment I still have a little bit of hope that I can figure the things out. So we will see. So I watched a tutorial on YouTube yesterday where the painter just put some brush strokes in the direction just to emphasize the lines or the outlines of the portraiture he was painting, and he at first just used one color. In his case it was a blue tone, and then he went in with painting some lighter colors and some darker shades in. And so far this kind kinda looks like the things, or like what he was painting, so maybe there's hope. And I think I just will go also over this part. I think I can't make it even worse, so I think it gets better. I actually like this part a lot. I think this part looks too forced, and I also like that here the texture is showing through. So this is actually the part where I used a lot of the impasto technique before. And even though I didn't like what I painted before, I think this building up just looks very beautiful. So maybe I will try to already now put some of my molding paste into my paint so that I can try to build up the texture. Oh yeah, I like the molding paste.
I tried many different techniques, always thinking I found the right one. But after looking at it for a while, I hated the outcome. I could practically hear my dad's voice warning me. This is the ugly side of making paintings. It sucks, but it's part of the process. Things weren't going as planned, mistakes were happening, and it felt like the whole thing was falling apart. Even though I wasn't happy with the finished background, I decided to move on with painting the dog. Sometimes you have to see the picture as a whole to realize what's wrong with the parts you've already painted. I started with blocking in the bigger shapes and different colors and values. Especially for the fur, I wanted to block in the direction to make it easier for me to put down the individual brush strokes. I then went on with setting one brush stroke next to the other, using a mix of the molding paste and acrylic paint to get those thick and heavy textured brush strokes of Van Gogh's artworks. Even though I painted, I felt like I was making a complete mess. The molding paste built up too heavy in the face, a part where the fur should be velvety and smooth. There I was, trying to paint a commission in a new painting style, feeling all that pressure. It felt like burying my dream before it even takes off. I'm feeling the weight of failing right now, even before the painting is finished. But every artist knows. Failure really is part of the process. You learn through mistakes. Growth lives on the other side of doubt. It's just incredibly difficult to remember that when you're seeing only the struggles and not the potential. So here we are. The first big commission, learning a new style, facing doubt and a whole lot of messy paint. I'm at a crossroads with this piece, battling the ugly phase, trying to decide the best way forward to rescue it. Next time I have to tackle this chaos. This is a trial and error process in full effect, learning by doing and hoping it pays off. Don't forget to subscribe to see my rescue mission in part 2. See you then. Bye.